Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be applying whatever we've been studying so far to some real case scenario. So we're going to grab an application that I wrote, a small application that is also password protected. We're going to disassemble it, and by looking at its assembly code, we're going to be able to guess which password is going to be able to unlock the application. But before we start, let's have a look at some rules first. As already stated in the first lesson, you must always get proper written authorization to decompile or disassemble any software. Do not try guessing someone else's password. This video was created for educational purposes only. Do not use the knowledge gained by watching this video to break any law, including IP law. If you keep on watching, you are agreeing with the mentioned terms and conditions. Now, let's get started. And that's the program that does the password check. You'll need to type a password, and if the password is 10 characters long, and if the sum of all ASCII code of the characters of the password is exactly 1085, then the password is correct and the program gets unlocked. Otherwise, you need to try again. Let's build the software without including the information for the bug because you are very unlikely to get those in real life. Okay, so we know that a working password would be maximizing because it's 10 characters and plus the sum of the ASCII code of all characters is 1085, and it worked. Now we try again with the wrong password. Didn't work as expected. Let's try again. Okay, now as you can see, that's the first clue. Now, using the object dump, I'm going to have a look at the raw data section because in here, I'm going to be able to have a look at the location of the strings. So that's your first clue. Now you know that OK, the string OK is located nearby here. So now, when we are going to disassemble this application over here, we're going to be guided by this address over here because the algorithm that is going to unlock the program eventually is going to be using this string over here just to tell the user that the password is correct. So this address over here is going to guide us and tell us where the algorithm for this program is. From now on, it's going to get quite technical. So if you haven't watched my previous classes yet, please do so. So we need to disassemble the application. So we're going to be using GDB. Now, because we want the Intel flavor for the assembly, we're going to be using this setting over here. So we disassemble the main function. And let's have a look at what it does. Let's move stuff around so it's easier. Okay, so the very first 3 lines are going to be doing the setup for the stack as it's explained in the function class. Now 8 is going to prepare the string password that is going to be used in the print over here, 20. Now here is cleaning the EAX registry because it's the registry that function use to store return data, and it's calling a print that is going to be printing password. Now here 25, prepare my password, which at this stage I wouldn't know, but at this stage I would assume is the variable name that the program is using to store the password. Now I know that that's the name, but if I was disassembling a program that wasn't mine, I wouldn't know. I'm just assuming that that's the variable that it's using to store the answer from the user, and that's the other parameters it's used by the scanf. Over here, the scanf is going to grab the answer for the user, clean in the AX again for the same reason. 49. Preparing user answer for strlen. Strlen is the function that is going to tell us how big the user input is. So basically, how many characters are in the password that the user has just typed. Now 56 over here is running strlen. So 61, save value of the return value, because again, as we know, AX is going to contain the return value of this function over here. And then 67, copy length of user string into X, already done, sorry. 73, compare answer with 10, because we know that the password to be valid, it has to be 10 characters long. So 73 is saying compare, and if it's not 10, then jump to these others over here. So basically, it's looping, because if the answer is not 10, then it's going to loop over here and it's going to start again, printing password again, and then the user is going to input another password and so on. But let's say we type the right password, right? 78. Initialize E. 78. Let's see if I can. No. Basically, I'm assuming that here 78. I'm assuming that here 78 there would be a cycle 4. So am I initializing my E index to 0, and then 85 jump to main plus 124 and grab strlen of user answer, right? So we go here, (124), save strlen of user answer. So basically, I'm expected to be 10 at this stage, right? 124. It is. Let's move stuff around, make it easy. 24, and then 130. Compare strlen to I, if not end of the string, because I is our index, right? So it's going through the whole string, and when the end is reached, then there is nothing else to analyze. So because as we know already, is going to calculate the sum of all ASCII index one by one, right? ASCII code, sorry, not ASCII index. ASCII code of the characters of the string. So 130, we said this, right? Compare strlen to I. If it's not the end of the string, jump to address So 133, that's not correct, that's will be main plus 87, which is here. So basically, if we've not analyzed the whole password yet, so we need to jump here, 87. 87 is going to push the value of I, which at the beginning will be 0, into EAX, right, over here. And then we're going to convert it to from double word to quad word. 92 is going to, we're going to do this. So basically RDX is going to be pointing at the array because in C programming you have that strings is basically an array, right? So you can access basically you can access each one of the characters. So you can think about these strings as an array of characters, right? So when every characters of the string lives in his own slot of the array, right? So you have the RDX point at the user type the password, which is an array, right? And then you have 99. Grab a char from the type the password, right? So because you are analyzing the string one by one, 103, copy user char into EDX, right? Over here, 103. Because you are working with integer, so you don't need the whole register. 106, copy current value of checksum into EAX, right? And then calculate the checksum. So basically what it's doing here is grabbing the new, every time they cycle, every time there's going to be cycling here, is going to grab the value of the current ASCII code and is going to sum it to the previous to get the checksum, because the checksum is the sum of all characters, right? All the ASCII code. And that's the reason why it's doing this. So 114, save the checksum, right? Save it into memory. Increase the index because you're doing a cycle, a for cycle, right? 124, save strlen of user answer. 130, compare strlen to I, and so on. And now, when you've analyzed the whole string, you end up in this region over here. Now, if checksum is not 1085, then go to address, this address over here, which is 62, and we don't analyze this because that's the case we don't care about it. Instead, we want the case where the checksum is actually 1085. So we continue And finally, we reach the string that's interesting to us, right? 148, RDI has to point to the string OK. So 148, where is it? Here it is. And look at this address over here. Did you remember what the object dump printed for us? I think we got it. So basically, I went through the whole program for you. When you become more and more good at it, you might get up to the point where you don't need to disassemble the whole thing. You don't need to go through the whole code. But what I wanted to demonstrate to you, I was basically trying to apply the whole knowledge that we've been studying so far. What was interesting to us, what you would normally do is immediately looking at this address over here and say, okay, what's the code that is surrounding this string over here? What's happening over here? And then you be basically walking this direction, trying to understand how you get here, how you get to print this over here. In some cases, you wouldn't go through the whole code, but you will be spotting the string that says okay and trying to identify how to get there. Basically, this is what you need to do, right? And then, because then you have 155, you just need to print okay. But at this stage, you've already found the password. So I hope you've enjoyed this class. And well, maybe the last thing I want to point it out is the fact that in here you have the leave instruction that is going to be doing the cleaning of the stack, and then the ret, which is the return, because the main function is exit. And yeah, I guess that will be all for today. And I hope you've enjoyed my class. And thank you very much.